Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey, and I'm from the site Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. And today, well, first off, it's scary story time here on the Plagiarism Today video log thingy. It's because there's a isolated thunderstorm right overhead, and it's blocking out all my natural lighting from the window. So got to put up with that. So, ooh, spooky story time. Other than that, though. Today I wanted to talk about the Google Transparency Report regarding copyright. This is a fascinating move that Google made here. Basically, I know I'm a little late on the curve talking about this, but I think it's worth touching on. What Google did was it released statistics on the pages it has removed from Google, and basically statistics on who's filed the DMCA takedown notices in the copyright holder, who filed them in terms of the agencies doing the filing, what domains were targeted, and basically when they were filed so you can look at trends over time and see totals and so forth. It's a very simple, basic idea that I think is absolutely fabulous. I absolutely love this, and I am a regular DMCA filer, though I don't file much with Google. I try to avoid Google search DMCAs for a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with this. Biggest reason being I prefer to get content removed from the web, not just from the search engines. That's my take. That's how I roll. But I have filed some, and I'm sure I'm somewhere in the depths of it, but you're not going to find many of mine, and the ones you do find are going to be my failures. But the point I'm trying to hit at with this is I think this is a great idea. Google really has worked hard to be transparent about its DMCA process, which is something that's fairly unique among hosts and search engines. And their first effort was with a partnership with a site called Chilling Effects. I think Chilling Effects is still around. I don't want to speak like they're dead. They're definitely still around. And what Chilling Effects was trying to do was be like this internet archive of the takedown notices. And I was very, very fond of what Chilling Effects was trying to do, but I had some problems with the way they were doing it, if you will. The biggest issue I think Chilling Effects had right off the bat, though, was that it was a small, non-profit, education-oriented group trying to swallow a mountain of data. It was really in over its head. Even when they instituted a lot of automation, even when they brought in a direct connection to Google's DMCA form, they still could not keep up with the tidal wave of notices. I mean, you can look at the report Google has now. You can see that it's just shot up, the number of notices they received in recent history. And Chilling Effects was not able to keep up with it. They were able to do a reasonably good job and have a reasonably useful database in the beginning, but as number of notices has climbed, they just were not able to keep up at all. And it's not really their fault. Like I said, they were a very small organization, limited resources. They did the best they could, and they still are doing the best they could. I should, like I said, not past tense, but they really were not and are not equipped to handle the current 250,000 DMCA notices Google is getting. It's not going to happen, I'm afraid. But the other problem I had with Chilling Effects was that they left in the full URL that was removed, and that produced a pretty odd situation on Google, where Google would remove an infringing link, and then in the footer point to Chilling Effects to point to the DMCA notice, which would cause that link to be removed, which would in turn contain the full link. So rather than linking to the page directly in the search index, they would instead link to a site which had the link. And it largely defeats the purpose of filing the search engine DMCA with Google. I actually asked Chilling Effects a couple of times to please asterisk out the last 20 characters in the URL, just enough so that people couldn't copy paste the link and find it. Otherwise, it does defeat the purpose of the DMCA, but they never actually went through it that I checked, and that manually haven't been by in a while. But I think this new effort by Google is absolutely great. I think this is a perfect balance. Because the other problem Chilling Effects had was that even though this data was interesting, you could see the full notices, it wasn't particularly useful. You couldn't really parse it. You had to go through one by one by one by one to find the relevant information you wanted. You had to do your own math. You could search it, but getting any useful data out of it was almost impossible. But what Google's done is taken the information, parsed it, put it in neat data, and done it in a way that does not display the full links. Basically, this is better for the copyright holders that are filing the notices, and this is better for people who are actually trying to do research on these issues. They actually get data that they don't have to compile themselves. So all in all, this is a win-win, I think, in this approach here. I'm really glad Google did it, and a lot of people have been talking about the surprises. The big surprise, according to most, being that Microsoft not only was number one in number of DMCA notices filed, but was largest by a very wide margin. In fact, I think they were larger than 2 through 5 combined. Um, yeah, it's a surprise, I'm not going to lie, but this might sound like a cheesy cop-out, but I always knew that if this data became available, I should expect surprises, because it's not going to fall exactly as I might think. And besides, there are limitations. Google's transparency report only deals with Google, the search engine. It does not look at YouTube takedowns, Google sites, anything other than search, actually, that Google deals with. It only looks at Google search. So it's a very limited list and a limited sort of a repository here we're looking at. Even though it is by far the biggest source of DMCA takedowns for Google, I'm quite sure of that. But it doesn't take a look at other, and also obviously it can't look at DMCA notices not filed with Google in any respect. So that caveat too. The point though is that this is a much more useful system. I hope it encourages some great DMCA research. I hope it encourages people to do some analysis of this and to really think about these issues some more, and perhaps take a look at how we can improve the internet in general. All in all, I think what Google did here was a pretty good thing. I think copyright holders and DMCA filers, as long as they're not doing something they're ashamed of, shouldn't be worried about it. You're not filing questionable notices. I don't see why this is a problem. I would expect Microsoft to be among the top, for example. I don't think they should be ashamed of being there. All in all, very great system. Check it out. I'll include the link in the description below. That's really all I have to say about it. So on that note, this is Jonathan Bailey signing off.